I want to define traditional methods. And what really is it? And this is the way I look at it. It's something that you do in-house training, which means that the casino has people who are either part-time or full-time that will train in specific areas. That's what I look at. There's also the second part of that is they bring an outside trainer like myself. And so then they bring him or her in like maybe once or twice a year to do some additional training on top of it. Okay, so that's traditional. Now, traditional, we talk about costs of traditional. I'm looking at things a little bit differently, even though I was a casino executive, is that costs are different things that you have to redo over and over again sometimes. Like if we have a cost of a trainer, going online, would that get rid of the cost of a trainer? It really shouldn't, because in most cases, there should be someone there to train, because they need to train like the hand functions, like cutting chips and shuffling. My God, how many people don't know how to shuffle anymore? So that was a cost, but that cost can't really be eliminated. What I see is not really the operational cost, it's operational gains from this. And you can translate that any way you want. I mean, we could turn that into profit, which is what it should be, okay? And so anyway, the first thing I look at, one of the things is scheduling. Scheduling is really tough for casinos. Online, you can assign people. They can go on a computer, you can go into their own home computer, I've done that before. And they can actually take the testing. Frequency. Matt pointed out, we was talking to Matt the other day, he's talking about the frequencies is one of the things that because he's an in-house trainer, right? So one of the things with Matt is that the frequency of getting people together and getting them in a class or getting them together to teach, or even get one person off shift to teach them, while the thoughts fresh in their minds, really kind of difficult sometimes. Here's another thing I run into, that most places don't understand that they regurgitate the same information over and over again. And we used to call it an institutional problem. And I'm not going to use the term, I was going to use this other term, I won't use it. But basically, they're using stale information, and they shouldn't use stale information. If you get someone from the outside, not only do they come up with new ideas, but they come up with current information that's industry-wide. That's where I see the gains.
When we look at the revenue in the industry with the training with inside versus outside, the more frequent, and I like that you use that word, the more frequent you can do training, you're going to see an increase in efficiency, which is going to mean more revenue, right? More hands per hour. You're gonna stop the game less, and you're going to be more profitable. Once you have that on your property and you have the ability to assign these courses to groups, right? You can do that more often, not annually. You can do it quarterly, biannually. And the more training, the more efficient your team's going to be. But another component to that is if you have a team member who's struggling, you can either assign them a course, right, to get them up to par, or that team member who feels that they need more training and they're feeling not as confident, they could go on and take that course themselves. So having that whole, both points coupled together, you're going to increase efficiency, you're going to increase confidence. And by doing that, you're going to have a higher player retention, right? Because you're going to have a consistent, confident dealer that is going to have the ability to offer a better guest experience.
One of the things with online training, and I got to explain something here. I do a lot of the outside training, and I've actually wanted to get in, the online training programs, but I haven't had the capital or the IT platform in which to do this. So what this WYSR project is, it opens up great opportunities to me. You can point out the weaknesses in certain table game procedures. You focus on it and you inform the client that this is what you need to do. Then you can back it up with information, like we talk about numbers. And I don't want to go off in a tangent here, but a game like, everybody's scared of professional level card counters, which we do have programs for, by the way, okay? But everybody's worried about that person. They're looking at a 1% edge. But a person who's going after Texas Hold'em, and they get one weakness, a dealer weakness, where they can see the dealers, one of the two dealer cards as it's being removed from the well, or they see the community cards as it come out. There's one card of each. They can gain like 10 to 20% advantage, which is 10 or 20 times stronger than professional level card counters, what everybody's afraid of, right? So what it does is it allows us to pinpoint weaknesses, bring it to the attention of the client. Then we tell them the solutions. And here's another thing about this. If there's something comes up in the industry and we find out about it, then we put a module together and it goes into the portfolio of the client. So they have access to this.
Coming from a new hire perspective, let's say, even if that person is a new dealer or a new casino manager, we can really help with onboarding. So that scalability of our training, offering our training online. So we've seen this happen because we offer digital policy signing. So now they get their SOPs, they get their policies that they need right up front. We're kind of the hand holder of their onboarding now. So we've seen retention increase and happier, more loyal team members, learning the hospitality standards, learning the protocols and policies right up front, having access to it from their team member portal on WYSR. We've seen an increase in retention with one of our clients, especially that we've been working with since the beginning. Since our first client that we've worked with, this has helped team members change from having those jitters when they first get started, and maybe because their gaming control card was too hard to get, or their drug test policy they didn't understand, or they didn't know where to get uniforms, or they didn't understand where they were supposed to park, and they get there and they lose that coach or someone that's supposed to help them. And with online training, we've seen the increase of employees staying at the property, being more loyal to the property, which in turn increases the property's revenue.
I had a casino contact me, a casino that's let's say in the state of Louisiana. They'd opened up, they'd only been open for about 6 months, and they were concerned about their games. And I couldn't leave. Normally I would leave and fly there and look over their table games in the restaurant. So I asked them to give me a list of all the procedures. So then I went through it and we got on a conference call similar to this podcast. And I went down the line and explained to them each and every one of their weaknesses and what they need to look for. And so that's the way I was able, it was like a stopgap. And we'll be in a position eventually to do that also, going through the WYSR platform. So this is like, again, opens up a lot of doors. It's basically whatever we want to do with it going forward. And we got some really good ideas right now.
These courses don't have to inconvenience their lives, right? We don't have to schedule them to come in during their shift or before their shift or after their shift. They can take these courses from anywhere. They can take it from their cell phone because it's a SaaS platform. It's a great option for them. They could take it from the desktop at their employer's training office. So it's really convenient for the team member, and that helps with, for one, morale. It increases the chances that that team member is going to complete these courses on time, which is another great component to WYSR, is that it's trackable. If you increase the dealer's confidence, they're going to, again, I keep saying be more efficient, but you're going to see a faster game pace. With a faster game pace, you're going to see increased hands per hour, for one, and hands per hour equate to more revenue. Second to that, if a dealer is making mistakes, the supervisor has to stop the game. When they stop the game, again, you decrease those hands per hour. A second part of that is if a dealer is consistent, that training is consistent, they're going to make less mistakes. So overpaying players, again, that's decreased revenue. So just adding those together, I think that even though it's really tough to quantify those results, it does increase revenue.
Actually have done some internet searches looking for other groups that do online training for table games, and there's really nothing out there that's comparable to this. There's all kinds of things we can do. Like Let's say a casino wants to put in a new game or a new side bet. We just go into our library, we pull it out, and we give it, put it in their folio. So they've got training. They automatically they have the information right there. Matt pointed out procedure refreshers. If you've got some dealer that's been written up by surveillance for not following procedure, what you do is you assign them, you have to go back and take this training. Then they're tested for this, right? And so one thing I noticed, 1/3 of people in the classes always want to do good. And 1/3 of them are there, okay, I'll learn something. But 1/3 of them are like they're social loafing. They just, okay, we'll just sit through the class because we have to. You can't social loaf on these. Because if let's say you do training on blackjack procedures. So you go, yeah, I know it. Go right through it. All of a sudden they start to ask you questions in a final quiz. You can't answer them because you don't know exactly what they're asking. You have to go back and retake the class. I like the idea of refresher. And again, I mentioned it before, game protection issues. If something comes up, we just go ahead and we put out a module, throw it in their folio, call them up. So we just put this in there. There's a lot of different things you can do like that. You just can't do in-house training. You can't do outside training. So the thing is that the true answer is WYSR, because WYSR is going to come up with a platform and the ideas and ability to train people a lot better than inside and outside consultants.
I kind of want to jump on this one with Bill too. I think what he's in short saying is that WYSR is adaptive. Adaptive learning is the future of WYSR, and WYSR is your future. And with that, I mean, we can scale smarter training using animation, interactivities, videos, live videos, coaching, consulting, all those things kind of wrapped into one, testing, tracking, all the accountability pieces that we can put together. We've already built over a 260 course library in leadership development, HR, and those types of courses, hospitality, guest services. And now with the Zender certified courses, we are covering table games, game protection, casino management, surveillance, game, the list goes on. And that library is just going to get bigger, and we'll be able to assess our clients really well to see, like Bill was saying, and get customized adaptive learning to our clients, customization for the properties. And so I believe the future is all these other great things. It is WYSR, and it's not just about training, it's about retention and loyalty. And if your team members are happy and loyal and developing, then your revenue and you'll feel, your employees are supported, and you're just going to get an increase in revenue. So WYSR.
You mentioned Zender certified, okay, which is kind of unusual technique for me. But one thing about it was that, just so everyone knows, I'm an outside consultant who's working with WYSR. And the reason WYSR approached me was because I do have a fairly good name in the table games field. So they want to make the courses Zender certified. And what that means is that I'm going to work with them. We're going to go over it. And Des and Matt do a really great job. They've got a real great setup. But I'm going to go over the material. And if I don't find it's up to standards, or my standards anyway, I'm not going to have it certified. They're going to have to go back and rework it. So the thing is, the certification, what that means is that if it's not approved by me, you're not going to be seen by you. So it's definitely, I feel it's going to be really high quality.